I'll never forget the 3 highway horror stories that still haunt me to this day. As I recount them, I'm transported back to those fateful moments, and the fear, the anxiety, and the sheer terror come flooding back. The first story began on a chilly autumn evening in 1973. I was driving home from a friend's house, cruising down Route 44 in Massachusetts, when I saw a young woman thumbing for a ride. She looked lost and scared, so I pulled over to offer her a lift. As we drove, the woman remained quiet, staring out the window at the passing trees. I tried to make small talk, but she barely responded. I began to feel a bit uneasy, but I figured she was just shy. As we approached a particularly sharp curve, the woman suddenly sat up straight, her eyes wide with fear. "Please pull over," she begged. I did, and as I turned to ask her if she was okay, she vanished into thin air. I was stunned. I looked around, thinking maybe she'd gotten out of the car, but there was no sign of her. I drove to the nearest police station, still shaken, and reported what had happened. The officers listened intently, their expressions growing more serious by the minute. Finally, one of them spoke up. "You're not the first person to report picking up a hitchhiker on that stretch of road," he said. "There was a woman who died in a car accident at that exact curve several years ago. We've had numerous reports of people seeing her ghostly figure." I was skeptical at first, but as I thought back to the woman's eerie behavior, I realized that I might have actually encountered a ghost. The thought sent chills down my spine, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I'd narrowly escaped something sinister. But that was just the beginning. The second story took place on a sunny California afternoon in 2012. I was driving home from work on Interstate 405 when I noticed a man standing on the side of the road, thumb raised. I pulled over, and he hopped in, thanking me profusely. As we drove, the man seemed friendly enough, chatting with me about his day. But as we approached a red light, I caught a glimpse of him in the rearview mirror, and my blood ran cold. He was hiding in the back seat, his eyes fixed intently on me. My heart racing, I floored it, speeding toward the nearest police station. The man remained silent, his eyes never leaving mine. I could feel his malevolent presence, and I knew I had to get away from him as fast as possible. When we arrived at the station, I leapt out of the car, screaming for help. The officers rushed over, surrounding the car, and pulled the man out. He was identified as a convicted felon with a history of violence. I was shaken to my core, realizing that I'd narrowly escaped a potentially deadly encounter. The thought of what could have happened still haunts me to this day. But the third story is the one that still keeps me up at night. It was a crisp autumn morning in 2018, and I was driving with friends on the Blue Ridge Parkway in North Carolina. We stopped at a scenic overlook to take in the breathtaking views. As we were walking back to our car, one of my friends, Katie, suddenly vanished. We searched for her everywhere, calling out her name, but there was no response. We combed the area, thinking maybe she'd wandered off to explore, but she was nowhere to be found. Panic set in as we realized Katie was truly missing. We called the police, and a massive search effort ensued. Helicopters buzzed overhead, and search parties combed the woods, but Katie was never seen again. The investigation remains ongoing, and numerous theories have emerged. Some believe Katie might have been abducted, while others speculate that she might have gotten lost in the woods and succumbed to the elements. But I know what I saw, or rather, what I didn't see. Katie vanished into thin air, leaving behind only her car, parked on the side of the road. The thought of what might have happened to her still keeps me up at night, my mind racing with worst-case scenarios. As I recount these stories, I'm overcome with a sense of dread. The fear, the anxiety, and the sheer terror come flooding back, and I'm reminded that the open road can be a place of unspeakable horror. I've tried to put these experiences behind me, to convince myself that they were just isolated incidents. But the truth is, they've left an indelible mark on my psyche. I'll never look at the highway the same way again, never forget the terror that lurks in the shadows, waiting to strike. And as I finish telling these stories, I'm left with a sense of unease, a feeling that I'll never be able to shake off the memories of those terrifying encounters. As I reflect on these experiences, I'm reminded that the open road can be a place of great beauty and great danger. It's a place where the unexpected can happen, where the ordinary can become extraordinary, and where the horrors of our deepest fears can come to life. I hope that by sharing these stories, I can warn others of the dangers that lurk on the highway, and perhaps, just perhaps, prevent someone else from experiencing the same terror that I did. But even as I share these stories, I know that I'll never be able to fully escape the memories of those encounters. They'll haunt me forever, a constant reminder of the horrors that I experienced on the open road. And so, I'll leave you with a warning. Beware the highway, beware the strangers you meet along the way, and beware the darkness that lurks within. For on the open road, terror can strike at any moment, and when it does, it can change your life forever. Thanks for listening to my stories. If you have any thoughts or experiences you'd like to share, please leave them in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more true horror stories.